Yes, it's actually episode 250 of the Legion of Reason version, and I am the Supreme Reverend Dr. Randy Tyson, coming to you on what is today is February 3rd, 2019, and I'm joined by my co-host Twyla. Christine is off this evening.
Some Joe sports.
Yeah, something. It was the most boring Super Bowl game I have ever witnessed.
Who won?
Should I spoil it for everybody?
They don't know already.
Yeah, I suppose. The Patriots won. And, it was just a boring football game. It was a great defensive battle, which is just another term for boring. Yeah. Anyway, what do we got tonight? Okay, well, Canada has taken in another refugee this time from Pakistan, Asia Bibi. She was recently acquitted on charges of that fictitious crime known as blasphemy, and has landed in Canada, and she's met up with the rest of her family. She's in a undisclosed location. Toronto. Excuse me. I mean, where else, right? Seriously.
Undisclosed Canada.
Yeah. It's going to be Toronto or Ottawa, something like that. Yeah. The other day was World Hijab Day.
Oh, missed it.
Yeah. Who cares? I hate World Hijab Day. It's they don't care about their sisters who in the Middle East who are, or even here for that matter, who were either forced by law or by family pressures to hide their hair, as if that somehow turns men on to the point where they can't control themselves. I mean, give me a break.
It's just hair.
It's just hair. Okay. Anyway.
It's just a form of control is all.
Yeah. There's a petition to get Nike to recall their Air Max shoes on change.org. The reason is really ridiculous. The logo on the sole, when viewed upside down, looks like the word Allah. And
really?
Pareidolia. This is all pareidolia. Yeah, and of course CAIR is involved in that. We'll get to that story later. And in the regressive left files, I love this. Counterterrorism policing wants citizens to call them if you see anyone at a hardware store buying knives or hammers, especially when sinister music is playing in the background.
I can get hammers at Walmart.
Yeah, it's just dumb. Also in the regressive left files, there were, those two Laurier professors, look in quotation marks. They're officially professors, but I wouldn't let them, within 10 miles of a university, that were at the center of the Lindsay Shepard scandal at that university. Nathan Rambacana and Herbert Pimlott. They're suing Lindsay Shepard over their unsolicited, slanderous comments comparing Jordan Peterson to Hitler. It's basically her fault for them saying what they did. Come on, that's going to get thrown out of court, and I hope they get thrown out of court in a very literal and physical fashion.
Are they representing themselves?
I don't know. They're not. They have lawyers, and of course Lindsay Shepard has a lawyer, but we'll get to that in a bit. Catholic Watch. The Vatican official handling cases of sexual abuse has resigned after allegations were leveled against him for sexual abuse. not of a minor this time, but
at least,
yeah,
still.
yeah. We'll see about that. And
I think it was a nun complained, or
some maybe person. I can't remember. When we get to it, it'll jog my memory. But finally, there's actually a good news story in Catholic Watch. Governor Andrew Cuomo, himself a practicing Catholic, signed into law a pro-choice bill causing bishops in Tennessee and Texas, which have no relevance to New York, where he is governor, and they called for his excommunication. At least the local
Wow.
diocese, Timothy Dolan, said, no, that's ridiculous. For once, Timothy Dolan actually makes sense. So Cuomo, in response to these criticisms, dared to suggest that his religious views should be separate from his gubernatorial duties. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, good word.
Wow. I bet you people that elected him didn't expect him to act like a human being.
Yeah, well, he is a Democrat, which is pretty odd for somebody who's very religious.
Yeah, but he's proving that he is a Democrat.
Yeah, he actually shows he can actually separate his religious beliefs from his public duties. It's go figure. Wow, it's amazing. American Theocracy Today. White House Press Secretary Sarah Saunders claims God wanted Donald Trump to become president.
Yeah.
So God is an election fixer, apparently.
And an asshole.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, who says that God doesn't have nefarious motives? I mean, he might be trying to destroy the United States by putting Donald Trump there. Whatever. Yeah. Oh, well, anyway, it's very cold here.
Yes, it is still, minus 40, here with the wind chill here, too. And you guys got a taste of that.
Yeah, it's minus 28 degrees Celsius here. And if you have to ask whether that's in Celsius or Fahrenheit, it doesn't really matter. It's cold.
And at the wind chill, it's windy here. And with the wind chill, it's minus 37, which is warmer than it was at noon.
Yeah.
We've moved up. Maybe I won't die when I walk to work tomorrow.
Yeah. Let's get into this. See if there's anybody in the chat room, just out of curiosity. Nope. Nobody's chatting. Come on, chat. I'll open up the phone lines later and come call in. Sure. Where are we going here? What do you want to start with?
Well, the Lindsay Shepard thing, I'm still scratching my head as to what their damages are. Don't you have to claim damages?
Okay, here's I'm just going to find the actual story here. Where is it? It's going to disappear. Oh, here we go. Okay, the story is this. Remember last year, Lindsay Shepard was called in to an inquisition. Can only
which she recorded.
Which she recorded without their knowledge, but that doesn't matter. And when the recording hit the media, Jordan Peterson heard the comments about him being compared to Hitler, and sued them. Now, I know that a lot of people out there saying, "Well, what about free speech?" Well, slander doesn't count as free speech. It's not actionable by the government necessarily, but it's actionable in a civil court. I wouldn't have sued myself, but that's just me.
So they're mad at her, so they're suing her in return.
Right, and if you look at the court documents, it's rather interesting. They talk about power structures, and Lindsay Shepard had all the power, which is complete crap. She had no power in that room. And when she, thank goodness she recorded this. And
it'd be unbelievable otherwise.
They're basically blaming her for Jordan Peterson suing them over comments they made completely voluntarily. There's no hint of, entrapment or coercion. If anything, it's they were the ones doing the coercion. And so it didn't become slander when the recording became public. It didn't become slander when it was recorded. It became slander the moment they said stupid things. Her lawyer made a great comment. He said that, why don't you sue all the news agencies that published it if that's really your position? Exactly. I mean, it's not her fault they made those comments. I just don't see this lawsuit gaining any traction at all. So they're suing her over basically whatever damages Jordan Peterson gets for saying the things that they said, which is, it doesn't make any sense. No judge is going to buy this.
Well, what's kind of funny, too, is Peterson is further alleging Wilfrid Laurier University is liable for the conduct of its employees.
They are. If they're acting in their official capacity, they are. There's no question of that. So it's, and they were acting in their official capacities as professors. So yes, they actually are on the hook. No, yeah, there's no, yeah, that's pretty black letter. But it's her fault. They said those things that they're getting sued over. That just boggles my mind. They just have no. Either this is some kind of a pressure tactic, which isn't going to work because no judge in their right mind is going to entertain this at all. Or else they are really, really deluded. I don't know. I'm not sure which one. I really not, because they could be that deluded.
Yeah, well, considering they think they did nothing wrong at all.
If anything, I'm surprised she's not suing the university for the way she was treated. Mm-hmm. She could. Oh well. But yeah, it's just.
Yeah, she might as well complete the circle.
She couldn't complete her studies at Laurier. She completed them at SFU. Simon Fraser.
Well, I hope this is very bad press for Wilfrid Laurier then.
I hope. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I was going to check Rate My Prof, Rate My Professor, on around Buchanan, because I think, yeah. The guy treats his students like children. He made what he thought was a rhetorical comment in that recording. He asked Lindsay if would you treat something if you brought in Hitler one of Hitler's speeches, would you treat that neutrally in a classroom setting? And I'm like, yes, you would, because that's what you do as an academic. He wants to tell students what to think. I mean, you hear him. Like Lindsay was saying, they're adults. They can think for themselves. And he's like, oh, but they're young adults. So fucking what?
Hopefully wiser than he.
Have some respect for your students. I'm trying not to swear. I could have talked about this a couple of episodes ago, but I get very, very angry in just thinking about these two absolute fucking morons.
And being in their positions. They get to
they
be
have
like...
no right to be employed by any university. They should be flipping burgers, which is what their degrees... Well, a physics degree, I guess. Pimlot's got a physics degree. But honestly, I can't believe these guys are employable.
It's probably hard to find a good physics teacher. I know one myself, but...
I've had some very good ones. But,
it's not exactly a high-paying job for that education, though.
No, sadly it's not. And if I had gone that route, I make more now than I would have going that the academic.
So kudos to all the very good teachers out there.
Yep. Universities need to pay their professors more, and it's even worse in the U.S.
Yeah, because taxes are even more evil there.
Oh, what else? Where do we go now? Where do we go?
I want to find out more about that priest, the irony.
Oh, that's the wrong one. That's a new one, too. There's Texas. Oh, let's just start with this one, right, since I got it up. Texas Catholic dioceses.
How many?
I thought diocese was its own plural, but anyway, reveal names of nearly 300 clergy. Sorry,
clergy.
That's the beer talking. Clergy accused of child sex abuse. So most of these cases go back, to the 1940s. The problem I have with this is these files have been sitting around since the 1940s, collecting dust.
As they move the men around.
So never reported to police, as far as I know, as we know. They were just sitting on these. And now, we're going to release all this information. Look how open and... Yeah. This is another thing that makes me very angry. It
was compiled by 15 Texas dioceses? Was compiled now? Or as they went?
It has to be... It was compiled now, but the files themselves were sitting somewhere in the bishop's office.
Just now 15 sat down and went through.
Yeah, they're releasing this information to promote healing and restoration of trust in the Catholic Church. I think that ship has sailed. That ship has sailed. Or it should have. Anyway. We wanted to act as a united conference to show the faithful and all people of goodwill that we are hearing their concerns. How many of these guys have been prosecuted? Some? None? And a lot of the clergy are dead. So that's convenient. Each diocese compiled its own list. And the details about those accused and the allegations vary. While some dioceses noted that some of the accused are linked to ongoing investigations. Who's investigating, the church or the police? That's what I want to know. Yeah. It's unclear whether the release of the names could result in criminal charges. So again, probably not. So the church has no business investigating itself.
Yeah, the foxes shouldn't let.
They can do that on their own, but the first thing they must do is report any allegation to law enforcement. That's it. If that isn't the first thing they do, they're doing it wrong. In fact, why do parishioners go to the church in the first place? Go to the cops. It's a crime. Anyway.
Yeah, minors rarely run to the cops, though. They go to their parents, who then...
The parents could go to the cops.
Yeah, which they won't. They've sold their soul to the so-called...
people haven't learned yet that you can't trust the Catholic Church. You can't. And you shouldn't. Oh, well. The publication of the list is not the end of a process, but rather is a step along the way to what I hope will be a full and complete accounting of all those members of the clergy who served in the diocese who sexually abused minors, El Paso Bishop Mark Seitz said in his report. How about prosecuting them? It's really hard not swearing. It's really hard.
Well, it's too little too late.
And yeah,
it honestly is.
It's still too little. The abuse of minors, physical, emotional, and above all, sexual, should never happen in churches, in homes, in schools, or anywhere. Okay? What's your point?
Yeah. Then why'd you hide it for how long?
I love this. All of us are called to holiness and to serve as examples of virtue, but our priests and deacons are to be held to a high standard, and rightly said. Look, they don't even meet the lowest standard. Okay? These 300 priests or so, they don't meet a standard. The only standard they meet is one which gets you into prison. And yet...
And then if you take 300, they said there's 1,320 parishes in Texas. So 300 is about a quarter of them are abusing children.
Yeah. Over a long period of time, yeah.
It's pretty high.
Yeah. And I'm sure they shuffled them decades ago. So they'd send them to another parish here, parish there, and when the allegations eventually came, which they would, I mean, they were stupid to think that these things would go away.
Yeah, they'd stop.
And they sat on these files. You know, that's... I don't know.
I'm wondering if Catholics pay attention to when their priest changes, why. They ask why. Well, who's this new guy? Why is he here?
Well, look at that guy in the Northeast that was arrested for rape. There are allegations over a 10-year period. And he was in various parishes around southern Alberta. I want to know what Bishop Henry knew, when he knew it, and why didn't he do anything about it, if he knew. And he had to know. Like, he had to know. I hate that guy. I really do. I mean, I wish he wasn't gone, because he is such a big mouth. And he shows us why Catholicism is plain immoral.
And hypocritical.
And yet Catholics were sad to see him go, oh, he's so loved. Oh, jeez. Whatever.
Is he loved because he kept secrets?
Yeah. I wonder what... It's absolutely beggars belief to think that around Calgary there haven't been allegations.
Yeah, so there must have been, and
every diocese had them. Everyone.
Yeah.
And what did they do about them? We never, this is the first person that I'm aware of in Calgary that has been arrested, etc. But, yeah, you cannot trust the organization that's committing the crimes to investigate itself.
Yep.
Doesn't make any
sense. Shuffling people around.
Yep. It's aiding and abetting as far as I'm concerned.
We've already seen what they do rather than punish.
Well, seeing as we're on Catholic Watch, this is the law. New York just passed an abortion law which allows abortions in the third trimester, and of course the Catholic Church is up in arms about it. It's not like you can have an abortion 1 minute before before birth. It's not what this is for. This is just for the case where the mother's health is in danger, and pretty much it.
Yeah, most doctors won't perform after
No, they won't. Yeah,
4 months.
24 months is. Most people have pretty much decided by that point.
Before they're at 4 months, yeah. And most don't have to at that long. Most get performed within 12 weeks.
Yeah. So, the governor, Albert Como? Cannot remember his name. I know his last name is Como. Anyway, this is the law. Under New York's previous law, which had been in place since 1970, abortion was legal during the first 24 weeks of pregnancy. After 24 weeks, a pregnant woman could only get an abortion if her life was at risk. The newly enacted Reproductive Health Act expands on what's legal after 24 weeks, allowing a woman to get an abortion after 24 weeks if her health is threatened, not just her life, and if the fetus would be unable to survive outside the womb.
Yeah.
And here's the important part of this law. I so agree with this. The new law also removes abortion regulations from the state's criminal code to the health code, thereby removing the threat of criminal prosecution for medical professionals who perform abortions. I totally agree with that. Why is this criminalized?
To punish people.
Yeah, it's punishing women for having sex, essentially. So that
and punishing people who help them.
So the Catholics, Catholic clergy got very upset at this, and Catholic bishops in, of all places, Knoxville, Tennessee, and Tyler, Texas, places you've never heard of before, tweeted support for excluding Como from the church after the Democrats signed a bill last week codifying rights laid out in federal abortion rulings. I mean, really, you use coercion to try and they try. Fred Henry tried that here. He what did he say? This is what he said when Paul Martin legalized gay marriage. That where was it? Oh, darn it! No, this is the wrong one. Shoot. Basically said that he had to be a Catholic first and politician second. And of course that's absolutely ass backwards.
Of course, separation of church and state.
As is usual for Fred Henry. He
Well, we don't have that separation of church and state in Canada, but this person, Como, has it in the States.
The Supreme Court has recognized that there's an expectation of a church-state separation. So the Supreme Court has kind of recognized it, but it's kind of fuzzy. It's very fuzzy.
Very fuzzy in Canada.
Yeah, and of course, our incoming, well, no, we don't know if he's the incoming premier, but Jason Kenney backed Fred Henry in 2004 when Prime Minister the Prime Minister at the time, Paul Martin, signed into law. Well, he didn't sign; it was given a royal assent. But Paul Martin, they called Paul Martin a bad Catholic for his position on same-sex marriage. Well, a bad Catholic is a good human being.
Yeah, give me the bad Catholic.
Christ's sakes. Where are we at now?
I'd like to talk about that.
Yeah. How come I don't see it up here? Oh, here it is. There we go. Oh, this is not the one that I wanted to see. I wanted to see.
I like how they put it, though. In the least shocking news you'll ever hear from the Vatican, a priest who had helped manage cases of sexual abuse quit his job 2 months after being accused of ...
How come
committing sexual abuse.
Months? It took him 2 months to figure out, oh, wait a minute, yeah, I've probably got a bit of a conflict of interest here. Wow.
This goes into some detail. Herman Geisler was chief of staff for the Congregation for the Doctrine of Faith, which deals with punishment for abusive priests.
That is actually the formal name of the Inquisition.
Last year, former nun. Yeah. That's right, nun. Accused him of soliciting sex from her while in a confession booth. Kept me there kneeling in front of him for hours, and he would tell me how much he liked me.
Hey, baby, you want to join me in the confessional booth?
Wow, hey, can you...
That's kind of tight. You got more room in the back of a Chevy.
And this is so creepy. He would tell me how much he liked me and that he knew I liked him. And even though he couldn't marry, there would be other ways. Wagner said at the event, at some point he would try to hold me and kiss me, and I simply panicked and ran out of the room after several hours of kneeling in front of him.
Wow.
I would have run out of the room after 10 minutes of that baloney.
10 minutes?
On your knees?
5 seconds. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It's just... Wow. Yeah. That's something else. Like... it's... How do you trust these people anymore? Why would you trust them? Why are there still Catholics?
Well, I like it. It says here, every Catholic who still attends and gives money to the church bears responsibility for supporting these people despite the constant barrage of horrors.
Yeah.
I rather like this article. Who wrote this?
There's nothing...
Friendly Atheist.
Yes.
On point, of course.
Yeah. There's just nothing that the church can do for some people that wouldn't get them to leave. How blinded to reality, how divorced from reality do you have to be?
Kudos to Meta, sorry.
Yeah, it's just sad, sorry organization. I can't believe this doesn't fall under RICO statutes in the U.S. or organized crime laws in Canada. It's organized. It's, like, okay, we'll take care of you. They show more compassion for the perpetrator than they do for the victims.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, the victims must have done something to deserve it.
Yeah.
That's what they quite often insinuate, if not outright say.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
When I told a female superior, actually, I was extremely relieved that she didn't blame me, Wagner said. Instead, she said something like, I knew Father has a certain weakness for women, so we kind of have to put up with this.
Yeah, put up.
And then,
you do not have to put up with it.
Then Mr. Metmo says, ha, 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 he just abuses his women, and we just deal with it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, that's the thing. They have all this power, and they, it's the thing. It was a power structure in a very real sense. It's very patriarchal. This is the ultimate patriarchy, almost. Saudi Arabia probably is more so, but you don't question priests. It's just part of the Catholic culture that you got to stop being Catholic.
Well, otherwise you're supporting these behaviors.
Yeah, you're actually supporting this, and I'm sure there are good priests out there, good as in good people.
That wouldn't.
But they still believe things that are wrong and espouse ideas which I think run counter to humanism. So screw them too. There's any other Catholic? We talked about the 300. Yeah, we did. It's gonna be a short episode. Oh wow. One last thing. I'll play this. Let's go to the video. This is Sarah Saunders.
Oh God. She's just.
I think God calls all of us to fill different roles at different times, and I think that he wanted Donald Trump to become president, and that's why he's there. And I think he has done a tremendous job in supporting a lot of the things that people of faith really care about.
Like what?
Yeah, like, doesn't
like
this just
what?
want to make you slap her topside the head?
So he says Bibles should be studied in school. Is like that? He didn't actually make that happen. He just said stupid things to get votes.
Yeah, it would be unconstitutional. Anyway.
So what has he actually?
Yeah, what has he accomplished at all?
What's he actually done?
He got us to sign a free trade deal that I wish we hadn't signed, but it takes the sovereignty. Any trade deal.
But what has he done that these
looked at by the U.S.? Stupid. No, he hasn't done anything. I mean,
that church people should like, except say stupid things they like to hear.
Yeah. Well, and this is one of them, right? This is pandering to your base. God wanted Donald Trump to be president. Okay, that doesn't mean that God didn't want to destroy the U.S.
I guess they all support his putting children in jail, then little baby jails, little cages.
Oh, that was a horrible.
It's still happening. A lot of them haven't been reunited with their families, and now they're saying, "Well, that's going to be too hard to do."
Too bad. You make it happen, or else. The whole presidency here. This one has just been a shit show. He's an idiot. He blusters his way through life, and thinks that when it comes to governance that nothing changes. He has no understanding of constitutional powers of the Senate and the Republic, the House of Representatives, and even the presidency. He treats it like being a CEO. He can't do that. There are rules.
He promised to do that.
Yeah, drain the swamp. Instead, he's in there sipping Mai Tais
with the alligators.
Yeah,
thing is,
he is the swamp.
His campaign team got him elected. Without them, he's a absolute mess. And 7, 8 of them are going to jail now.
This is making me want to start reading. I haven't finished reading Bob Woodward's book on Trump. This is kind of making me want to get reading that again, because it was just, I don't think they had any expectation of winning at all. And they were surprised when they won.
Well,
so was I. I was very, very surprised too, but I can't do anything about it now.
Yep. There's a staffer that wrote a book too about how it was in the White House, and he really regretted a lot of things he did, including write up an enemies list for Trump that had like comedians on it, an enemies list.
SNL. And right.
Well, that was probably number one. Number two was Colbert. Like, really?
Oh yeah, Colbert just despises Trump.
I love that show.
Yeah.
But that's what you're going to worry about as president?
Yeah,
really?
It's petty.
What comedians say about you?
Yeah. That's Donald Trump. He doesn't like bad press or anybody saying, talking smack about him.
And he has no idea how to do his job or focus on anything important. So he does nothing but watch.
How many bills that were put forward by the White House have been passed?
Oh, hardly any, thank goodness. They're terrible.
A couple? He's got a terrible record. He claims, nobody's done more as president than I. He's always about extremes.
They haven't done
really
more
good
golfing.
or really, really bad.
Nobody else has done more golfing. Nobody else has done more idiot twittering, and nobody else has watched as much TV.
Obama had his problems, but going from Obama, a proper statesman, to this
a joke,
this just lowbrow
idiot
moron. It's a. How did it happen? Well, there's a lot of
his campaign
things
team
came together. Well, it was a lot of things.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things that came together.
Without his campaign team, he would not have been elected, though.
Part of it was the left and its suppression of conservative ideals. It was, and Hillary ran the worst campaign I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Except for what's his name?
Bernie.
No.
Or
the guy who ran for premier here against Notley.
He's dead now.
Yeah, died in an airplane crash.
Yeah.
He ran actually a worse campaign, but Hillary was so busy trying to not to lose that she didn't win. It was a constellation of factors that all came together and boop.
Yeah, she didn't address anything. She would say once in a while, like, he's Putin's puppet, but she wouldn't come out and bring the evidence. And then now it's all coming out, the how he pays prostitutes and everything. Where was all that information before.
Well, you know, when somebody is talking about things that are important to you and the other candidates aren't, it doesn't matter who it is who's saying it. You'll gravitate to that person. And that's what I call the Trump effect, because
they had his campaign team told him what to say.
Immigration was big on his plate, whereas Hillary just left it. That was a huge mistake.
Yeah. Nope, if they didn't give him those talking points, he would have been too stupid to get elected. Unfortunately, he had a brilliant, evil, corrupt campaign team behind him.
Yeah. Where are we going here? From here. So we talked about God wanted Donald Trump to become president. Yeah. I hate it when people say this kind of thing. It's so shallow.
Like if the team wins, God wanted that team to win.
I don't know if she really believes. Yeah,
no.
When it's football, it's like, oh God, I thank God for this win, and kicking the other guy's ass for me. It's what it is. It's false modesty. You don't want to say, you know what, we played better than them because we have better skill. Just say that, but nobody wants to say that. Instead, they go, "Oh God, yeah, blah, God this, God that." Come on.
It's kind of nice they give away all the credit like that.
Like that. It's like that picture of the surgeon with Jesus guiding the hand. I'm like, no, stop that. Jesus, if Jesus really wanted to do something, he could just heal the patient. He doesn't need the surgeon to do his work for him. Does anybody ever think of that?
Well, that's what happened in the past. There were miracles in the past where people were healed and they didn't know why, and so Jesus. But now it's like the surgeon, so it's like, okay, we got to twist this in a way that we can still give Jesus credit.
Well, come on. Benny Hinn has his magic jacket. You know, that video of Benny Hinn is hilarious. It's all play acting. Everybody falls down, smitten by the Spirit. No, they're not. They're just play acting.
I witnessed this at Bible camp. The kids would speak in tongues and then fall over.
Who was it who was saying that, you know, everybody gets, you know, falls over except for the cameraman. It's funny how they keep standing up. They're not, you know, pushed over by Benny Hinn's wind. You know. What else we got? You want to do... let's save David Stefan for last.
Yeah, that's great.
Bibi, yeah, I think we're just... Here we go. Nike Air Max shoe logo called offensive to Muslims for Allah-like design.
They found that with the Monster drink, too. Pretty much anything they can
Christians,
pick on.
It was 666, right? It was the number of the beast for Christians.
Well, and if you look at the Monster drink, that big M, somehow they made that out to be Allah somehow.
Like Hebrew. There's a Hebrew. Yeah. It's pareidolia.
Okay.
That's all it is. Oh, man, I tell you. So here's a comparison here, right?
Looks more like Klingon to me.
Actually, I don't. Well, of course, I'm reading it upside down, but I mean, it doesn't even look like... I had to work out Air Max out of this, but...
Oh.
So if you turn it upside down, take the 4 middle letters of Air Max, and that kind of, you know, yeah, sure, it bears a resemblance. A resemblance.
It looks more like a number to me, like the Roman numerals.
Yeah, I mean, it's missing all the little other thingies in Arabic.
Cyrillic, yeah.
So somebody got upset about this.
Because they're on blue.
And put this change.org thing up there. Nike has produced the Nike Air Max 270 shoe with the script logo on the sole resembling the word Allah in Arabic, which will surely be trampled, kicked, and become soiled with mud or even filth. Isn't mud filth? Or no, we're going to use those in a barn. Stepping on horse crap.
Yeah, those look like good barn shoes.
And this
They're
is
expensive, but
it gets even stupider. It is outrageous and appalling of Nike to allow the name of God on a shoe. This is disrespectful and extremely offensive to Muslims and insulting to Islam. Islam teaches compassion, kindness, and fairness towards all, except when it's on the bottom of a shoe. Wow.
This doesn't look anything like it to me. They do have a picture of this stupid... Doesn't look like it. It could be a freaking W. Like
seriously, of course. Nike says, Nike respects all religions and we take concerns of this nature seriously. Of course, right up until it hits the bottom line. That's why they're probably not going to recall these shoes. The Air Max logo was designed to be a stylized representation of Nike's Air Max trademark. Go figure. It is intended to reflect the Air Max brand only. Any other perceived meaning or representation is unintentional. No kidding.
Especially if it's upside down.
It's like playing records backwards. Yeah, yes! Exactly. I was
just going to say that.
Yeah.
Back in the 80s, playing records backwards. You're not supposed to play it backwards, and you're not supposed to read this upside down.
Well, what's funny is the Weird Al Yankovic had a song that if you did play it backwards, clearly says Satan eats cheese whiz. Nice.
Good on him.
That was a good one. I like that one. But it was obvious that he actually intended it. It was literally on
probably sound like gibberish.
It was clear as day. I mean, it's obvious.
Well, when you played it backwards, was it clear?
But the whole thing was like subliminal messages and garbage like that, which you can't get subliminal messages from things that are played backwards. It doesn't work. Where was there was one? Oh darn it! I can't find it here. Somebody from CAIR, the Committee for Apologetics of Islam. The Committee of American Islamic Relations. Darn it! It should have been in here. And they came on but it's not in this for some reason. It's gone. Oh no, here it is.
Okay.
A number of community members have reached out to us about the design. Ibrahim Hooper. Hooper? Okay.
It is Hooper.
It is Hooper, which I don't know. Okay. We've dealt with a number of cases over the years. The typical kind of case would be a jeans manufacturer who liked a design, and the design happened to be verses from the Quran in Arabic. They don't necessarily see a problem. There isn't a problem. You have you're.
They didn't go get Arabic in this case.
In this case, they didn't. No.
It's like when the Chinese put I like sluts on their shirt and they think it says something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you get a tattoo that you think says your boyfriend's name and it actually says whore or something.
He says, obviously, Muslims are concerned that references to God, which in Arabic is the word Allah, would be on the sole of a shoe. It's not. Now there are... I have totally missed the opportunity. Here we go.
Obviously, Muslims are concerned that references to God, which in Arabic is the word Allah, would be on the sole of a shoe. Now there are widely varying opinions as to what is actually seen in this particular design, but it's something that Muslims are always concerned about, and we've reached out to Nike to discuss the issue.
I hope Nike tells you to take a hike.
Yeah.
In a pair of their shoes. Because this is ridiculous.
Actually, it looks like a very nice pair of shoes. Actually, I see a horseshoe. There's a horseshoe. It's good luck. The heel.
Yeah. Well, this is the same crap we hear coming out of the Middle East, right? A slight which is real or imagined being blown out of proportion. I mean, it looks like all whatever.
Well,
that's your problem. It's not ours.
These are not Arabic letters, and if you have to turn it upside down, like, really?
If they're going to tell me I shouldn't buy those shoes because of this, I'm going to say no. I'm going to buy the shoes and wear them because I'm not Muslim and I don't have to adhere to your nonsense.
Or perceived nothing.
Yeah, it's just nonsense. I do not have any obligation to adhere to anybody else's, within the law, of course, but anybody else's beliefs. I don't have to act as if I believe them too, just for your sake. Too bad.
You have to be tolerant of me, just as I have to be tolerant of you. You don't have to be like me, though.
Well, it's just these demands that I cannot do this because of their beliefs. Oh, screw that.
Their belief that something was done that wasn't. And you turn it upside down.
I will sit down with a pulled pork sandwich in front of them and eat it. If they're going to pull that crap. I don't go out of my way to insult people, but if they do this, yeah. then it's called for. What else? Oh, yeah.
Well, it's not like you're making them eat it, like.
No, exactly. It's like Linda Sarsour when she got upset about people eating in front of her during Ramadan. Get the hell out! Go someplace else. Who cares? I'm not going to do it just because you're fasting during Ramadan.
It's like it's your problem, not ours.
Yeah. All right. Well, David Stefan. Yeah, David Stefan, infamous David Stefan, who is going to be back in court in June. Is attempting to be on these speaking tours at these health and wellness things. And there was a Calgary health show. I don't know, where was it going to be? I hope it wasn't going to be at the
Brain this weekend. Yeah, well, it's going on this weekend, or went on this weekend. Yeah, well, it is BMO Center.
BMO, okay, so on this Calgary Stampede grounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was supposed to have 2 speaking engagements there, and he has canceled.
Yeah, about brain health of all flippin' things, and his kid
he knows
died of a meningitis, which affected his brain.
Well, you can talk about Lakeview Bakery.
Yeah. Well, there was a Lakeview Bakery and a few others, but Lakeview Bakery was the most boisterous. They were supposed to be set up during the weekend, but Joanne Schmidt, marketing director at Lakeview Bakery, she started receiving letters and messages about Stefan's appearance. Customers emailed them. Customers asked if we were aware that David Stefan was going to be speaking, and if so, what was our response, and were we going to still support the show as an exhibitor? Once they learned the news, Schmidt says they made the decision to pull their support because it would have been condoning his actions. So, and yeah, they have been found guilty of failing to provide the necessaries of life for their 19-month-old son.
Yeah, and they'll be tried again for the same.
Brain dead when he finally got to the hospital.
Yeah.
And he was going to speak on brain health. He was
like he knows anything about this.
But she doesn't even know what an axion is. An axon.
I was just going to correct you there. It's like, should I say axon? Oh, yeah. Or a dendron.
Or the different parts of different kinds of cells. Yeah. Yeah. Wasn't there an astrocyte?
Yeah, that's a type of glia.
Yeah, was my favorite. So.
Astrocyte, yeah.
Yeah.
Glioma is the most prevalent.
Yeah.
Cancer.
I bet you he doesn't know a single one of those words.
Oh, I'm sure he doesn't.
Oh, he was going to do a recovery from a brain injury seminar. Oh. Achieving brain and thyroid health, rising to your potential. Ugh.
Has any of his stuff been through peer review? Okay, I know it hasn't, but that would be my
Well,
first question.
What's funny is he has Empower Plus, and he's talking about empowering humanity to rise up. Rise up from where?
The guy has no credentials. None. Zero. Zilch. So why would anybody listen to him?
And rise up
Anti-intellectualism just
where?
drives me nuts. He has absolutely no credentials at all. He's studied none of this.
He just has shit to sell.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Nobody sees that. Nobody sees this as just marketing. He's not interested in.
I'm going to talk about humans rising up after they buy my shit.
Yeah.
Are they going to start floating? I guess I would have had to hear him speak to find out.
But good for Lakeview Bakery for withdrawing their financial support.
Yeah, there were several others too. So, basically the person who set up the expo was trying their damnedest to keep them this time, and yeah, but once you start losing sponsors, then.
Yeah, bottom line. I don't like deplatforming anyone, but you don't have to actually put money into it if you don't like who's speaking. I mean, it's just, well, we'll see what happens this year with the retrial, and I really
hope... Was that in March?
No, it's
in
June.
June. Okay.
That's when they start again, and he's whining about this is why he's doing this. June
3rd.
He's got to get some money for his legal bills.
How about give your children appropriate care?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, he failed to give the standard of care, any reasonable standard of care, and
then tries to blame everybody else. And that was another thing. That was another thing the marketing director said. He is absolutely not repentant at all for his actions.
Oh yeah, we haven't heard one utterance from him about any culpability. He's completely... Yeah,
he's not apologized or taken responsibility or tried to change his ways, obviously, because he's still hawking this stuff.
Yep.
Still trying to get other people to do this to their kids, so...
Yeah, it's amazing.
Brain health.
If you... is Pig Pills still up, the website?
True Hope, I bet you.
No, not True Hope. The guys that...
the guy who took apart True Hope.
Yeah. They went to doctors and got scripts. And, with real symptoms of mental illness. And you call this number, and so they went through the script with the telephone salesperson, and they would tell them to go off medication. It was like that's totally illegal. I know Health Canada has tried. Give them the. I wish the federal government would give Health Canada the teeth,
power,
and go after charlatans such as this. I mean, there's none of this has gone through peer review. It's unscientific. It is complete nonsense, and I'm not at all afraid to say that because there's no science that backs it up.
Yeah, the book is called Pig Pills Inc. Plus, there's Rainbow Investigations now. I think. It's evolved. The whole website.
Anyway, that's all I got today.
Terry Polaboy, that was it, I think.
That's all I got today.
Where's this book?
Yeah, it's available online, I think.
Come on, let me in. Paige.
How are you going to ride out the cold weekend? And one of the options is heading outside to play.
You can't even breathe out there.
You're going to be playing very long. watching the Super Bowl. Yeah, unfortunately, I watched the Super Bowl. Like, crappiest game I've ever seen. Just boring.
Well, how come they don't list the authors right away? But they do talk about the schizophrenic who went off his medicine.
I forgot to do this. I'm going to open up the phone lines. Sure.
Oh.
Anybody wants to phone in? Oh, great. The banner's not showing.
Yeah, Jordan Ramsey, the schizophrenic they convinced to go off his meds. He killed his father and injured his mother.
In British Columbia, yeah. The number is...
And he's speaking on brain health. I'm sorry. Oh. Yeah, Dr. Terry Polavoy. Yeah, Ron Reinhold.
Anybody wants to call in, the number is 587-288-1067. There we go. I'm going to put that
1067.
I'm gonna manually go up. There we go. 587-288-1067. Anybody wants to phone in. Otherwise, we'll shut her down. So that's a threat.
Phone her.
We're going to... You phone us or we're going to shut up.
I'm sure that's maybe not the best strategy.
Yeah, I didn't really think it through. Yeah, I'm getting ready to make a bunch of new stingers for the podcast. Just little short segments between segs. So I've got this new software that is just... Oh, we got a call! Oh my god!
What is it?
Call. I don't know. Who do we have online?
Hello?
Vincent.
It's who?
Vincent.
Oh, Vincent. Hi, Vincent.
Hi. How are you?
Good. We're doing really well. Warm indoors.
Yes, indoors.
Very indoors.
Yeah.
Where are you calling from?
Very cold.
Are you in Calgary, Vincent?
I am in Calgary, yes. I don't think I've ever met you, Twyla.
I don't believe so.
Yeah.
And what do you got first?
Speaking of pills for mental health, I had to take said pills for mental health and have since stopped.
Which one?
The side effects were too bad.
Sorry, which pills?
Which pills?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Give me a class.
One of the new ones.
A new pill.
It's been a few years, so I can't really remember what it was.
Oh, okay.
Then it probably wasn't the multi-dose vitamin from True Hope.
If you don't mind me asking, what was it?
No. Dysthymia.
Oh, dysthymia. Okay.
Yes. You.
Well, I hope they come up with something better than something that has bad side effects, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are no psychotropic drugs without the side effects. Without the bad side effects. And some people can tolerate it, and other people don't.
Yeah.
I, unfortunately, could not, so...
Yeah, my
and have you ever found a vitamin that worked? Because that's what Stefan's angle is for brain health, like overdosing on vitamins. I can't imagine that's very helpful.
There is no such thing as I don't think there is such a thing as
no.
Vitamin.
Yeah, it's not caused by vitamin deficiency.
As long as you have a reasonable diet, it's okay. Yeah, I have mild depression myself, and it's kind of classed in a bunch of different things. But I take an SSRI for it, and it works
Ooh.
pretty well.
Yeah.
And my big problem with when I get depression is motivation. It saps any will to do anything, even if it's enjoyable. So if I want to do, want to take the camera out and
take pictures.
I can't do it. It's the one I'm on now, Van Lafflick scene, is very good for my for treating it. So I still feel like I'm on that edge, that knife edge of between motivated and unmotivated, but
at least it keeps you.
But now I as long as I start doing it, I'll keep doing it. It's great. Practicing the guitar, I pick it up, and as soon as I start doing it, okay, I'm good now. But
I've been on Wellbutrin quite often because the pain from my allergies is very depressing. And for some reason, the Wellbutrin kind of mutes that effect enough for me to keep going. Like, yes, I can do this today. I never know when I step out of the house if I'm going to be smashed in the face with allergies, but my current job, it was pretty much every day the last 4.5 years, so it was hard to deal with. It gets better as if I complain, and then they get lax again, so I find that Wellbutrin keeps me from absolutely breaking down in tears. So.
Yeah. Well, I just had to take it. I just had to stop taking it altogether. But I get up every day, so it's got to be said for something.
Yeah, exactly.
There were times I couldn't even do that, and it's just it's plays consciously, okay, you really need to get up and do something, but it's like the will is just not there. It's your energy is just sapped, and that's what it is. It's not about pulling yourself up by the bootstraps. You know that. That's
you're telling yourself that, but your body's like whatever.
You can push against that for a while, but it's a losing battle. So
it's very tiring too.
Yeah.
So I've been lucky. I haven't noticed any side effects. That's the only reason I keep taking it, is I haven't noticed any. The only
mild.
Yeah.
Well, Butrin is pretty good for not showing a lot of side effects. So.
Yeah. It's usually used as an adjunct too. You can use it with other SSRIs.
I use it with my antihistamines.
That's kind of weird. I would never have thought that. Yeah.
Well, it mutes the pain to the point, and it keeps me from breaking down from the pain emotionally, so that I can go back to work. And then the weekend I get a break, and then I can go back to work. It keeps me going. If it gets really bad that I can't breathe, I have a place to go in the basement to catch my breath, and then complain to my boss after and hope that day we can find whatever it is and send the person out of our area. But no, it just otherwise I think some days I wouldn't even get out of bed because I'm like I can't. It hurts. Like, that headache is extremely painful. I get brain fog. It feels like somebody's pushing pins up my nose. So it's very hard not to be disappointed in people around you that would allow that to happen to you, and you can break down emotionally on top of physically. So the Wellbutrin just gives me that edge that I can deal with it. So
I use alcohol.
I can't do that at work.
Why the hell not? You just, got a drawer, pick it up.
Might as well, because my brain goes to mush when my allergies are melting it. I can't think anyways. I might as well be drunk.
Well, some antihistamines probably do give that kind of an effect too. They're very.
My Blexten.
I've been high on some of those antihistamines.
I wish. Before. No, I take a prescription one called Blexten, and I'm so lucky. Like, I maybe have a little bit of dry mouth. A tiny bit, but I notice, again, no other side effects. Whereas if I use the over-counter ones, then yeah, I get sleepy and droopy, but I never, unfortunately, never high.
Because I suffer from rhinitis, so
yeah,
quite a bit. Not as bad as I was. The worst thing when I was doing my PhD, I worked around rats, and I developed an allergy to rats, and I can't avoid rats. I'm sorry. It's that sounds weird, but
yeah,
that's your animal model. And as soon as I would walk into the room, got another call coming on here. We'll put you on. Well, thanks for calling,
Vincent. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I'll take this other caller. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye. Wow, 2 calls in a day. What the hell? That's. Oh, who we got on the line?
All right, this is Stephen Cherry.
Hi, Steve.
We met in.
Oh, hi.
What do you got for us?
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so you made a comment earlier on about how basically okay, first of all, with the Muslim symbol, quote unquote, the Allah text that's on the Nike shoe. Well, it doesn't actually. You'd have to cover up 2 letters. Mm-hmm. And then even then, it's missing from the actual characters. And then you have to kind of assume that it's, even though it's not in the same shape, that it's in the, that it is.
Yeah, you have to go through hoops to get there. Yeah, it's just stupid.
So I mean, you have to make quite a few things. Like it's kind of like that Jesus and toast thing that some people see, because you see what you're used to, you want to see, right? And actually, Muslim people very, very rarely report seeing the image of Allah, because you're not actually supposed to depict him, and doing so is actually not a good thing. But they do see the text. But what I was going to say is that with it though, with this whole thing, you aren't actually, or I should say, no. I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to turn around what you said. Okay, so the commodification of religious symbols and cultural symbols. What's your stance on that? Because if they took the humanitarian symbol, turned it around and flipped it into a letter H and put it on something like that, I think, to be honest, a lot of people that are atheists or agnostic and really being used for religious purposes might be upset.
I wouldn't be. I mean,
I wouldn't notice.
It's just not a hill I'm going to die on. It's.
Oh yeah, I would be. I would be. See, that's where even I differ, because I've seen the triquetra, which is used by a lot of Christians, using that symbol, but that symbol predates Christianity by probably 1,000 years. Mm. And I know people that are kind of upset because it's been kind of adopted for the symbol of the Holy Trinity by Christians.
So it's kind of a culturally appropriated symbol.
It's very old. Oh yeah, very old. It's kind of like, how they overlap their holidays, the pagan holidays, and basically slapped their own names on them and said, oh no, this is this day instead of that day. What are you doing worshiping that day? They did the same thing with some of the symbols and basically threw their own stuff on it.
Well, it's not the symbol itself. To me, that's important. It's what's behind it. It's the ideas behind these things. Like if somebody wants to adopt a symbol for humanism, I'm happy if they adopt some of the actual ideas of humanism.
That's the problem. You know that they won't. That's the thing. Good. And
you gotta hope.
And they turned it into the letter H for some holy book, like the Holy Bible. They turned it into the humanist on the very first letter. I mean,
as humanists, we're kind of used to being picked on that way. So it's like, well, it's still ours.
Nobody knows what humanism is.
It would still be our symbol, and you kind of just shrug and go on, because what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Well, there'd be a lot of people. There'd be a fight in the court. There'd be humanists would be like, we're suing for a religious right here. We're going to use the same argument as a religious freedom, basically to say we have a freedom from religion. You can't adopt our symbol.
Can we?
I don't know if you could. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm sure we can. But the right from freedom of religion is the same as right freedom for religion. In basically the U.S. or in Canada, in almost every location. You have the right to be free from religion. Same thing with religion in the workplace. You have freedom from religious conversation, or freedom to be religious, but you're not allowed to basically enforce it on anybody else.
Right.
But can you take a symbol
I don't see that as being
and register it as something? Can you make it your right to use it, copyright, basically?
But it is registered. See, this is the thing, like why so many cults get away with having their own days off and stuff like that, because there's a freedom to have your religious rights recognized. I'm just surprised atheists don't turn around and go, you know what, I'm taking off every Charles Darwin day. By the way, that's 3 weeks.
Hey, I'm all for that. I mean...
they would just make you use your vacation time.
Yeah, they probably would. And I keep getting told to take my vacation time.
Jarvis Newton had it birthday on Christmas, didn't he? Or was it Benjamin Franklin? I can't remember.
No, it was Newton.
Oh, right.
Born on Christmas Day.
Ha. Newton miss. You gotta remember Newton miss. Come on.
Yeah. Newton miss. No, Newton was a nut too, though. He was he was even strange relative to other Christians. He was he would have been labeled a heretic. In fact, his friends told him, "Don't go spouting your theology because you're going to get in big trouble."
Well, that's even more funny to take Christmas and call it Newtonmas then, because it's even more insulting then.
Yeah, I mean, he was a great. You know what? Physics was a sideline for him. He was first and foremost a theologian. Imagine if he'd put 100% of his time into reality.
Science. Yeah.
Like he also worked on alchemy too, right?
Alchemy, yeah. The thing is, he wrote his alchemy books. They were all in code, and it took a long time to actually be able to decipher them. And people are actually going back. Chemists are going back and looking at his alchemy. It's actually very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's basically simple chemical reactions is basically what he was looking at, but he just didn't know it at the time.
Yeah, he never found gold, so I mean, that's
was able to create gold.
But he was the treasurer in Britain, and man, that he was a hanging judge. If you were caught counterfeiting, that's it. You're going to the gallows. He was no nonsense. They didn't even bother asking for clemency. Like, no point. See, he was an interesting character, that's for sure.
Then the other thing I was going to ask is, so the next sentencing hearing, or the next hearing for the Stefan, sentencing hearing, he's basically been holding off all the time for basically the last couple of years on sentencing.
Well, it's June 3rd is their trial start date, so they're actually having a retrial. It's the Supreme Court.
They were granted a retrial.
Yeah.
Well, I hope they get a stiffer sentence this time.
I really think there should be a
because I'm almost sure I've seen him several times in Leicestershire.
Well, he used to live there.
Yeah, he was in that area.
He was raising money. He was raising money for what he called the Alternative Health Network, and I've never seen anything. I looked it up online. I tried to find some stuff on it and stuff like that. And I just tried not to make eye contact with the guy. It was like, I understand anything. This is goes by drugstores and Canadian Tire trying to get donations. And people were donating money. But he's got a whole pile of unclaimed income. I mean, he's still got his business. He's still got all this stuff, and he's still stealing. I just don't understand that.
Yeah, I wonder how truthful he's being about not being able to pay his legal bills. I don't know. But
the judge didn't care. I think he was just looking for pity again.
Yeah.
Well, and the funny thing is, you can actually watch his YouTube channel, and it's interesting. And he's also got a couple prayers for Ezekiel or something.
Yes, on Facebook. Yeah. I'm banned.
Fundraisers. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because he's got a few different things like that going on, and they're hidden under different names and stuff like that. His followers still follow him and all this other stuff, just like a cult. But it's weird though because very much like a cult. But it's interesting though because if you look at his stuff and you look at what he's doing, he's basically trying to figure out every way around the system to basically not take any responsibility. It might be just because he's in denial because he killed a kid. basically.
And it can't possibly be his.
Neglect.
Yeah. Well, nobody intends to kill their child, right?
Yeah, nobody can. And I don't know how you deal with that grief, but the thing is, that, he has traveled all down the U.S., all over Canada, and he's gone to all these different trial things to try and, because he doesn't want to hire a lawyer to investigate how they can, try and make it look like the medical examiner is incompetent, or try and find out if there's some way that they can show that AHS. I think they were claiming the nasal cannula that was used for the pediatric patient was actually designed for an adult, so that's why the kid died.
Oh
my God! No, he was brain dead before he got there.
Yeah.
Arg. It wouldn't mattered if the doctors dropped him on his head.
And then he actually showed something. He actually did show something, and it's actually true. This does happen. He showed that an IV solution, saline solution, can cause fluid overload and shut down the kidney. And it can kill a person. Well, he said, they gave him a saline solution because he was stiff, the kid was stiff, and not breathing, and, was severely deficient, so they gave him a saline solution. That's what killed the kid.
Yeah, no.
That's what he's claiming now. But the funny thing is the kid died, it was his brain. It was actually the inflammation of his brain that killed him. Yeah. It had nothing to do with his kidneys, but he's saying that that's what it was.
Yeah, trying so hard to blame Big Pharma.
Well, saline was going to kill somebody if your potassium levels rise and nobody catches it. But the first thing they're going to do is do take a blood sample and send it off to the lab immediately. So they would know very quickly if that was the case. They wouldn't have
in the ambulance on the way there. But the thing is that in a normal, healthy person, right, or even a child that's somewhat healthy, the flow rate and everything of the saline and stuff like that should not kill a child that quickly.
No, it shouldn't happen. It's just saline.
Your potassium levels would have to be, you'd have to be near death already from basically having an ionic balance that's way outside the norm already. Actually, die that way. You have to be on death's door already.
Yeah, exactly. And you have to get to that point first, and that was the problem. If that's even the case, and it's probably not. It's probably just exactly what it was, meningitis, untreated. Yeah.
This is awful because untreated meningitis for that length of time, the poor kid would be just excruciating and delirious. Any palliative patient at that stage of life would just be. I feel real sadness for that kid, and the fact that they didn't actually they were so resistant in their beliefs that they would not take him to a hospital. It's just mind blowing.
Yeah, a lot of this is tied up in their religious beliefs as well. I'm sure of that.
And whatever the next level of humanity he's trying to take people to now.
Oh, but people.
I wonder if he is technically a cult leader for some of these people. I often wonder that.
Yeah.
Well, they would make him a martyr of their. They make him a martyr of their, whatever it is.
Yeah, like Wakefield and whoever else.
All those other dicey characters.
It's Big Pharma. It doesn't want you to have access to this knowledge. They call it knowledge.
That killed the kid.
That's not knowledge. That's pulling things out of your ass. That's not the same thing. People look at the pharmaceutical industry. There's some serious problems there, but for the most part, the scientists that work there, they're only interested in helping people. That's their only interest. But no, it can't be. It's nefarious, right?
Yeah. Well, right now, I think, unfortunately, I think that there's a couple of things going on in the news that it's kind of given those people a little bit of credence for once, and it's kind of awful. In that, we have the opioid crisis where we have legitimate corporations that lied about basically the effect and the addictiveness of fentanyl, and now we've got a problem on our hands, basically as a country because of it. Well, not even a country, international scale. Which is pretty bad.
Yeah, because other people sell it on the street too, so you really can feed your addiction.
Yeah, and dangerously so, because you don't know the quality of the product. What are the what are the impurities in there? I mean, it's not necessarily pharmaceutical grade, right?
Or even if it is pharmaceutical grade, what concentration is taking, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. The dose makes the poison, right? And fentanyl takes very, very little, like a grain or so, which is just a tiny amount. And
I have to wonder, though, if Arma even just stopped selling it completely, how many addicts would there be from the street drug now? Like, how did they come to start manufacturing it for the street drug? Is it because they stole that one, or do you think they would have come up with it on their own? Or it's kind of like out there, but
it's just an anesthetic. Why? You don't really get a high off something. You just go to sleep.
No, you do. You do. No, you do. You actually do, Randy. I deal with it all the time in the hospital.
Wow.
We do give fentanyl. And people, unfortunately, the problem is that it's like you said, the dose makes the poison. Well, if you're in pain, fentanyl can alleviate the pain.
Yeah, that's true.
But when you start taking the fentanyl to prevent pain, right, then you're suddenly using something that is now getting you high because those neurons aren't being used anymore. It's for pain anymore. It's not causing you pain. And even then getting the value right, because a 300-pound man is very different than a 86-year-old elderly lady who has a hip replacement. Unfortunately, it does cause a lot of problems. That, and unfortunately, the pharmaceutical company that actually produced it. And this is the thing in the news right now. It's actually whether or not they're going to press criminal charges against her because they doctored the actual evidence they provided. Things like
about how addictive.
You know what happens if someone falsifies documents to the FDA, the marshals come. They come with handcuffs, and they don't fool around. I work in cancer therapy, and or R&D, and this is something that is drilled into us. You don't mess with these guys. In Canada, they wouldn't be able to do that, but they could stop you from selling your device, which would be this essentially shutting you down. But if you're in the U.S. and you falsify documents, they don't even, they don't even talk to you. They just come get you. Whoever has signing authority is the one that gets in the handcuffs. So
is that what's happening right now, or?
Yeah, that's what's happening right now. Well, not that the marshals didn't come for her. I understand from what I understand it. Basically, what ends up happening was that she volunteered herself because basically the evidence proved in the end, no, it is addictive.
Yeah. So is it as addicting as OxyContin?
What's that?
Is it as addicting as OxyContin?
Oh yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're like basically all the morphine drugs, all the drugs that are related, that are morphinogenic drugs, that are based around the morphine molecule, all of them are addictive, unfortunately.
Yeah,
like we have receptors in our brain that not only dull pain, but also make us feel good, that are endorphins, right? And unfortunately, they just mimic those things really well.
Mm-hmm. What was it? That was, I was watching Gad Sad video. He was talking with a neuroscientist, and a guy had said something very interesting. It was the difference between happiness and addiction was happiness is serotonin, and I can't remember what he said addiction was. I want to say GABA, but I'm not sure of that. Yeah, it was an interesting topic of discussion. So yeah, the more anything morphinogenic. It's unfortunate that because that's the most effective painkillers.
Yeah, here we go. Nevada's execution of a man convicted of murder was halted Wednesday after the manufacturer of one of the drugs that was used in the lethal injection argued that the state had to obtain its product illicitly. And then they talk about this, and then they go into, where is it? The potential of commonly used and abused narcotics like fentanyl and executions was alarmed. So they're using it to actually kill people as well. So then they're like, oh yeah, it's non-addictive and it has no bad side effects. But you can use it if you want to kill somebody.
Well, the whole idea. You don't have time to get addicted.
Yeah.
You don't get the chance.
BC sued the opioid makers for negligence and corruption about addiction risk. That's article August 29th.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're British Columbians and their families as they announced a lawsuit against the pharmaceutical companies to reclaim the costs associated with the ongoing opioid crisis.
That'll probably turn into class action.
40 companies they're suing that manufacture the opioid. Because they downplay the risks of the drugs when advertising to physicians, especially their addictive potential and possibly falsified documents on the studies. There you go.
Wow.
Yeah,
Now
when companies do this kind of crap, it's
and Narcan is expensive. All the officers carry it now. Well, in case they come in contact with somebody and to treat an overdose. So
I think we have one in the house. I'm not sure about that, but
yeah, and it expires like within 2 to 3 years, so it has to be replaced quite often. It's super expensive. We spend tens of thousands of dollars in just like one department alone now. It's probably millions across the province.
Well, at least it's provided
for the Narcan. Well, our province has to buy it though.
Yeah, of course.
And then they provide it. I pay that bill for our department.
Anyway, I think we're gonna. Should we shut down now?
Yeah. Thank you, Stephen.
Go, Stephen.
Thanks for the good show, guys.
Thanks for calling. We had 2 callers. Awesome. That justifies the $5 a month.
There you go.
I don't get any compensation for this. It's a labor of love.
Yeah.
Or anger management, maybe that's probably a better way of putting it. Therapy, personal therapy, getting I see this stuff and I get really, really pissed off.
Yeah, it's nice to vent. Thank you.
So I have to vent. Yeah, exactly. And I try so hard not to swear, but sometimes I can't help it. Anyway, great show. Too bad Chris couldn't be here. I know she said she was being held captive. I know there's a death in her family, so I was surprised that she was even trying to make it. But
yeah,
she couldn't make it anyway, and yeah, time for bed. Great. Well, hey, I'm gonna close her up.
Okay.